Choose your side carefully. Are you for the Republic or are you for the Separatists? This is a review of Star Wars: Rise of the Separatists. Let's dive in. Here we have Rise of the Separatists. Let's go ahead and turn this over and see what's on the back. Battle in the era of the Clone Wars with Rise of the Separatists. This sourcebook explores the early days of the Clone Wars and is fully compatible with the complete Star Wars role-playing game lines of Edge of the Empire, Age of Rebellion, and Force and Destiny. Rise of the Separatists is one of 3 official era sourcebooks for the Star Wars role-playing game line. What makes an era sourcebook unique is that you get new species, careers, vehicles, and adversaries to play around with, all from a specific time period in the Star Wars canon. And of course, like with all sourcebooks, Rise of the Separatists is compatible with the Edge of the Empire, Age of Rebellion, and Force and Destiny core rulebooks, and there's even advice towards the end of this book on how to mix them up. The book is separated into 4 chapters. We have Heroes of the Republic, which has new options for players. Weapons of War has new weapons, armor, gear, attachments, vehicles, and starships. The Spark of War is where you're going to get a lot of the exposition as to what caused the Clone Wars. In addition, you'll get planetary information for Geonosis, Kamino, Naboo, and Tatooine. The Clone Wars campaign has ideas for adventures and new adversaries. There's also new rules for running large battles in squad and squadron size. Right off the bat, we're going to have 4 new species to play around with. We have clones, Kaminoans, Geonosians, and Umbarans. Clones have 2 across the board when it comes to characteristics, allowing you to really specialize your clone's skills and talents. They start with a rank in knowledge warfare and resilience, and they start with 1 rank in the physical training talent, which allows them to add a boost die to athletics and resilience checks. Geonosians start with a 2 in brawn, agility, and intellect, and a 1 in cunning, willpower, and presence. But they also start with a whopping 140 XP. They begin with 1 rank in a skill of their choice and are industrious, meaning when they provide assistance, they add a boost die to the check and heal 1 strain. They can also fly. The Kaminoans' highest characteristics at base value is intellect with a 3. They begin with 1 rank in medicine and 1 rank in the researcher talent, meaning they can remove a setback die on knowledge checks and researching takes 50% less time. Like the clones, Umbarans start with a 2 in all characteristics. They also begin with 1 rank in deception and can add a boost die to charm, deception, and negotiation checks. They also have Shadow Dweller, which allows them to remove up to 2 setback dice due to darkness, but they add a setback die to all checks they make while in bright natural light. That's pretty rough. We have 2 new careers and 4 universal careers. The Clone Soldier has access to the Clone Officer talent tree, which makes use of their leadership skill to command their allies. The Clone Pilot talent tree, who is your kind of a typical pilot, but with some cool maneuvers they can perform in vehicles. And then the Clone Trooper talent tree, who is a soldier, who's really good at killing droids. That's pretty much it. The Jedi has access to the Knight talent tree, which gives a player a ton of reflect and parry talents, but has a prerequisite of Force rating 2. And then there's the Padawan talent tree, which is pretty much the same as the Knight, but also with some talents that allow the Padawan to reroll failed attempts, or even add successes equal to the number of light side destiny points in the pool. The Force sensitive Outcast is a universal talent tree with a prerequisite of Force rating 1. They take advantage of the weak by disorienting their opponents and dealing extra damage to them. They also have access to Renegade Form, which allows them to choose a characteristic other than brawn for lightsaber checks. The Republic Navy officer is like an astrogation-focused pilot, but they also have talents that make use of their leadership role. The Republic representative is the ideal face of the party, with the ability to remove setback dice on most social skill rolls, and with the talent Consider Your Options, which can allow an enemy to suffer strain if they attack them. The Scavenger are modders at heart. They have the ability to scavenge around for items, but their jury-rigged and exceed specifications allow them to easily modify their gear. Just be careful not to break your gear too much. If you're missing a core rulebook or 2, there are reminders for the knowledge warfare and lightsaber brawn skills. The bind and enhanced force powers are also described here. The Weapons of War chapter details all the gear and vehicles that were prominent when the Clone Wars began. For ranged weapons, we have things like the DC-15 blaster rifle, blaster carbine, hand blaster, and the Z6 rotary blaster cannon. For explosives, we have things like the APM-1 armor-piercing grenade, the BTX-42 heavy flame projector, the Mark II EMP grenade, Model 201 mortar system, and the RPS-6 rocket launcher. For melee weapons, we have the M3 Bulwark blast shield, M8 combat knife, and the TZ-97 Zapper shock baton. Lightsabers are described here in case you only have Edge of the Empire or Age of Rebellion. So we have things like the basic lightsaber, the Shoto, training lightsaber, basic lightsaber hilt, and the Shoto hilt. The armor is unique in that it is very specific towards this time period. So we have things like the CF-9 Republic Naval Flight Suit, the Gundark Scav Suit, heavy robes, HT-77 Cold Assault Armor, Jedi Commander Armor, Mark II Hotspot Insulated Armor, Phase 1 ARC Trooper Armor, Phase 1 Clone Trooper Armor, and then Scavenged Clone Armor. We do get some new gear and equipment here as well, like the A99 Aquata Breather, the Destro 6 Demolition Charge, the Hollow Megacaster, Jedi Utility Belt, Lightsaber Maintenance Kit, Republic Insignia or Replica, Republic Seal of Service, and the X5R Heavy Demolitions Kit. So in terms of new vehicles, we do have the AAT-1 Hover Tank, the CK-6 Swoop, the LAAT-1, the Multi-Troop Transport. For ground vehicles, we do have the Hailfire Tank, and then for walkers, we have the ATTE. For new starships, fighters, and shuttles, we have the C-9979 Landing Craft, the Delta Aether Sprite class Interceptor, the Drakh class boarding ship, the ETA class shuttle, as well as the Undercur class jump speeder. We've also got the NU class transport, the Shethipede class shuttle, the Vulture class droid starfighter, and the Republic Z-95 Headhunter. For cruisers and transports, we have the Architens class light cruiser, the Consular class light cruiser, the Munificent class heavy frigate, and for battleships, we have the Lucrehulk class battleship and the Venator class star destroyer. All of these vehicles are made for war, so it's very unlikely that your players are going to start out with any of these. Although the Consular class light cruiser could be an interesting upgrade, especially if your players are commanders of their own small covert army of clones or something along those lines. The Spark of War chapter goes into great detail on how the Clone Wars started. It's a great read if you haven't seen the Clone Wars animated series or are rusty on your episode 1 and 2 lore. We do have stats for Padme Amidala, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Count Dooku, Asajj Ventress, and General Grievous. Although I really wish these were with the rest of the adversaries towards the end of the book instead of in the middle of these expositional pages. Details for some planets are listed here as well, and these come with adventure ideas. So we have Geonosis, we've got Kamino, we've got Naboo, and we've also got Tatooine. And once again, some stats for adversaries are here in the adventures idea instead of in the adversary section towards the back of the book. The Clone Wars campaigns chapter is really an advice section for GMs. There's advice on using and combining the different core rulebooks and some party compositions that really lend themselves to the narrative, such as having all clones or Jedis and diplomats. The new optional rule deals with fighting in squads and squadrons. To start, a character makes an easy leadership check to recruit 10 minions. Once a squad has been formed, the leader can order their squad into a formation, such as Dug In, Skirmish, Support Fire, Comm Silence, and Search Party. If you're flying a ship, you use the squadron formations, such as Attack Formation, Evasive Maneuver, Running Dark, Sensor Sweep, and Screen Formation. Last but not least are the adversaries, which have been separated into two groups. Forces of the Republic, and the Droid Army. For the Forces of the Republic, we have things like your basic Clone Trooper, Clone Sergeant, and Clone Captain. We have the Galactic Senator, the Republic Fleet Officer, the Republic Judicial. And then for the Droid Army, we have the B-1 Battle Droid, the B-2 Super Battle Droid, the Buzz Droid, the C-8 Saboteur Droid, the DRK-1 Probe Droid, the Droid Deca, the DSD-1 Dwarf Spider Droid, the IG-100 Magna Guard, the LM-432 Crab Droid, the Pilot Battle Droid, the S-43 Enforcer Droid, and the T-Series Tactical Droid. Do you really need this book? Well, that kind of depends. Do you have allies and adversaries, gadgets and gears, and starships and speeders? If you do, then you already have most of the content here, minus the extra careers and specializations. But what if you're planning on running a game at the beginning of the Clone Wars? Then yes, this book is definitely worth the pickup for the careers and specializations alone. Everything else can actually be found on the Wikipedia online, or in another source book. Well, that's going to do it for this video. Feel free to leave a comment down below, give this video a huge thumbs up to support this series, and I will see you guys in the next video.